Good afternoon and welcome to your 4 to 5. I'm Lauren Coleman here with Eric Chilton, Maddie Gardner, Jalen Gilkey, and Christian Morgan. Everybody's here today.
That's right. Happy Tuesday to you. Don't forget Facebook. Now, if you have not joined us on Facebook during the commercial break, you haven't lived. You got to get over there and see what's going on. We have a good time. We'll keep our mics open and we chat with you during the commercial breaks.
That is how you sell the 4 to 5, Eric Chilton. You have
not lived. He's a professional.
All right, let's start off with the news of the day and your 4 to 5 roundup right at 4 o'clock here. North Carolina is currently under a state of emergency after a ransomware cyber attack at the Colonial Pipeline. This attack temporarily shut down the pipeline, and it's the primary line for fuel in our state. The state of emergency suspends fuel regulations to make sure there's enough supply across the state. Governor Roy Cooper says the declaration will help us prepare for any gas shortages as a result of the pause. The North Carolina State Senate Committee just passed a wide-ranging criminal justice bill. Senate Bill 300 would allow a family to see the full body camera footage within 5 business days after a police incident that results in death or serious injury. The amendment would allow law enforcement agencies to ask a court if they can redact some of the footage in some cases. The bill also includes mental health training, psychological screenings, and a system to track and document the use of force. And the National Weather Service confirms a tornado touched down in Alamance County yesterday. They found damage in the Sutphin community and Snow Camp areas. The EF1 tornado had confirmed max wind speeds of up to 110 miles per hour. It was on the ground for just more than a mile and crossed Lindley Mill and Greensboro Chapel Hill roads.
17 million more Americans are now eligible to receive the PFIZER coronavirus vaccine after the FDA gave emergency use authorization for kids aged 12 to 15 years old. The drug company says clinical trials show that the vaccine is 100% effective preventing illness in that age group. The shots could be available for young people as soon as a CDC advisory committee completes its review tomorrow, meaning states will be able to give middle school students vaccinated before the fall.
All right, you got to see one of our latest coronavirus numbers today. We hit a surprising low in the number of new daily cases. The state said it learned of 699 new cases in the past 24 hours. Now, you can see how that compares to the daily numbers over the past 2 months. Now, check out the pandemic as a whole. We had to go all the way back to October 4th to find a number that was this low. That was 7 months ago.
All right, weather-wise across the Triad, a much calmer, much quieter day of weather than we had yesterday, and we are thankful for that. I did want to just reiterate the fact that we do have new information in on that confirmed tornado in Alamance County, just near the community of Sutphin yesterday. It did have 110 mile per hour winds. It touched down just near Lindley Mill Road and then tracked for about a mile to the southeast before it dissipated near Greensboro Chapel Road. And in fact, this 110 mile per hour tornado was the same strength of a tornado that hit last year on April 13th, the morning of April 13th, and just almost the same exact spot. So, of course, our thoughts and prayers with those folks as they clean up the damage from yesterday as well. Taking a look across the Triad this afternoon, is it the best looking day of weather? No, but there's no hail, there's no tornadoes, there's no water falling from the sky, so I consider that a win for today, and much cooler than we were yesterday, running about 10 to 15 degrees cooler than we were yesterday. 65 in Greensboro out at PTI right now, 67 in Winston-Salem. We're in the low 70s down to our south, and cooler air is going to make a comeback as we go into tomorrow. It's going to be a little taste of fall. By the way, the Hoppers do kick off another home game stretch tonight at 6:30. Mainly clouds for that game time. Temperatures in the mid-60s, so it still will be a comfortable afternoon and evening of baseball tonight in downtown Greensboro. On the radar, things are quiet, and that, of course, is a good sight to see. Tonight, I expect our temperatures under mostly cloudy skies to drop down into the upper 40s to near 50 degrees. Going into your Wednesday, we've been talking about the possibility for some rain tomorrow. I actually think most of those showers are going to stay to our south, but regardless, it's a chilly day of weather, staying stuck in the 50s for most of the day, but we do warm things back up and we get a little more sunshine as we go into the end of the week. I'll show you that full 7-day forecast coming up.
Well, a Greensboro teen uses his wood crafting skills to help fight food insecurity. 16-year-old Jamie Danis started making and selling these wooden craft pieces at the start of the coronavirus pandemic. And now, just a year and a half later, he helped raise thousands of dollars with his crafts to help feed families in Greensboro. What started off as a hobby for 16-year-old Jamie Danis turned into a full-fledged business.
You know, I had so much time at home after school ended that I just wanted to, try to do something.
Jamie founded Designs by Jamie Danis, a product line of custom handcrafted wood pieces made from repurposed and recycled materials. He started his business at the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic in March of 2020.
Made some tables, like Adirondack chairs, made a couple rocking chairs. I made a few beds and, benches.
And get this, he says he's a self-taught craftsman. His most prized pieces are his handcrafted trivets, coasters, and cutting boards. 100% of the proceeds on these items benefit the nonprofit A Simple Gesture.
1 in 4 kids in Guilford County suffer from food insecurity. So just at the beginning of the pandemic, that I just know that was worsened by the economy and just layoffs and everything.
A Simple Gesture is a food collection agency that supports food banks and food pantries in the Triad with a goal to end childhood hunger. Jamie says he's raised more than $5,000 for the organization through his craft sales.
So what inspires you?
I have had the privilege of not having to worry about food insecurity, and I just feel like it's my responsibility as, I guess, a citizen to try to help alleviate that struggle.
Wonderful. So Jamie is currently a junior at Weaver Academy for the Performing and Visual Arts, where he studies singing. And he says his goal is to continue to grow his business and his charity work after he graduates high school and into college. So anyone interested in learning more about his products and how to benefit A Simple Gesture, we do have those details on our website.
Man of many talents.
Yes.
Colored me impressed. I mean, the entire time Chilton and I were in the studio like, wait, we want that. Wait, we want him to make this. How does he do that?
That's the first thing I thought of. I was like, first of all, I've always wanted to be able to know how to do woodworking. I can barely hang a picture, so that's not happening. But I appreciate what he's doing, and he's the guy you reach out to when you want something special made. I mean, he could make a lot of money doing this.
And guys, I don't know what's more impressive, the thought and taking time out to help others in need, or just the fact that he was a self-taught wood craftsman as well. What do you guys think?
Yeah, all of the above. He said, he is a Boy Scout. He learned a little bit there, a little bit from his dad, but he really took on this hobby himself and taught himself how to do these things. And he told me that he sold within the last year and a half about 320 of these items to benefit A Simple Gesture. So I think that's just phenomenal. And going off of what you said, Jalen, to be so young and to understand how big of a deal food insecurity is, and to go above and beyond to help address that issue, that's mind-blowing.
You're absolutely right, Lauren. It's a problem that we talk about weekly, maybe even daily on this show. And for someone at such a young age to take some initiatives to try to cause some change and see some change in their community, hats off to you, Jamie.
Yeah, could have easily kept all of those profits for himself.
Exactly.
I hope he's ready for the number of requests he's going to get now that he's been on television.
He's about to get busy.
I would like for my request to be at the top of the list if possible, though, because y'all know how I love a cheese board.
Yes.
I think I need a handcrafted wooden board for that.
Oh boy.
I really like that barrel table.
I did too. That's the one I looked at. Yeah, I like that.
All right, we'll be right back. Come join us on Facebook.
That's where all the fun's at.
That's true. So true.
We're there. Of course it's fun.
Mike's coming.
Hola. Y'all, my
Muy bien,
producer
¿y
is
tú?
joking with me today that it's Robot Maddie because I'm actually where I'm supposed to be
Robot man.
on time.
You also were early today for our meeting.
I was early to work. I had all of my stuff written. I wrote all the headlines early.
Just knocking it out the park today.
You're on
Yeah,
fire
he
today,
just said
Maddie.
in my ear, it's okay, you'll forget where you're standing here.
I've already
And
forgotten.
he's
He
not
just told me.
wrong.
I'll go.
Yeah, have y'all been seeing long lines at the gas pump? I hope we don't have to deal with this
Lauren is
long.
dancing up a storm over here.
I need everyone not to panic by gas.
What song is in your head right now? Lauren?
Just a made-up song.
Oh,
I'm
it
just
was? I thought it
dancing
was.
on life. Happy about that.
That's good.
What a feeling, dancing on the ceiling. I know that's not what you were singing, but that's what popped into my
I
head.
saw him perform that in concert, Lionel Richie, and his two guitarists literally went up on cables and flipped upside down and went to the ding dong
my
ceiling.
gosh.
It was really cool.
I would love to see Lionel Richie. He was in Greensboro like not too long ago, right?
Really? I don't know.
I'm
You mean
pretty sure.
performing or
yeah,
just?
Yeah, the
oh.
Coliseum, like before the pandemic, but
I think so. Yeah, I think you're right.
all night long.
He had a string of hits.
Sorry for my singing, Facebook.
Yeah, his guitarist literally flipped upside down and went to the ceiling of the Dean Dome in Chapel Hill. It was pretty cool.
Caroline, I am ready to go. I'm ready to go.
D?
Hey, Nancy. Hey, Bobby. Hey, Joe. Wanda, of course. Jay is here. Denise. Joyce. Teresa, Misty.
Joy and pain.
Brandy. Mayo.
And rain.
Sunshine.
Welcome back. All right, check this out. Not often that a college student gets to debut a film in an international film festival, but that's exactly what's happening to Kamari Bryant of UNCG. His student film called In Space will run tomorrow at the River Run Film Festival. Here's part of my conversation with him about this whole experience. Kamari, how excited you must be that your film is going to be in the River Run. This is really cool. Tell us what this is all about first for folks that haven't heard about this description yet.
For sure. Yes, so my film is called In Space. It is just an exploration of Black bodies in white space through the art of film and dance. So we're looking at what it is to be Black in spaces that are occupied by whiteness. I've looked at it through this lens of these 4 dancers who embody this feeling of being trapped in space and how you can come out of that and what you need to find joy at the end of the day.
Were you inspired by recent events with this, or is this something you had planned before all of that?
So this is actually something that came out of, I got a fellowship with Visionary Justice Story Lab, which is a film collective based out of Atlanta, Georgia. And I got a grant to make a film project about anything that I wanted. But their topic was kind of, it was resisting narratives of erasure was the topic. And so we could make anything that kind of had to do with that. And I kind of pulled from my own personal experience because I grew up in a predominantly white school that I went to from kindergarten to about 7th grade. So I pulled from that experience and that feeling as a child, like what that felt like in a very childlike space of not having people that look like me around me.
So talk about how excited you are that this is in the River Run Film Festival. That's a big deal.
I'm super excited and so fortunate and so grateful. This is one of the first festivals I've ever gotten into, and I am so excited. I'm going to be seeing it on Wednesday this week, so I think that I'm so fortunate to the team at River Run for having In Space in the festival.
This is great. You're doing a good job and representing Greensboro too. Thank you, my friend, for your time today. Super smart. I'm telling you, the kid is super smart and so introspective and deep. And he took some of his, as he said, some of his own experiences and applied this to his film. I think the way he's doing it through dance is so cool because everybody that watches this will have a different interpretation slightly. It's not a script, it's not a thing. It's kind of what you take out of it, and I love that idea.
And I think that's when we see pieces of art like that, they're some of the ones that stick with us the most because we have to think about them and ponder them. I mean, just the time, I'm thinking about the time it takes to actually make a film from start to finish, from conception until it airs on the big screen tomorrow. That is a huge amount of time and a huge commitment for someone to make. So this is very impressive.
Yeah, Maddie, I'm just amazed by how he was able to take dance and film, blend it together to address social issues. He talks about Black bodies in white spaces, something a lot of people of color can relate to, and something that can educate everyone no matter what color you are. And the images in your video, Eric, just beautiful.
And what a feeling to know that one of your first pieces is going to be in a film festival, has the possibility of winning this competition. It's just wonderful to see another local talent being highlighted to showcase what it is that the Triad has to offer.
It's what I said, that I said remember the name, because I really think Kamari Bryant, you just keep that name in there because he'll do something big.
It's very cool. River Run is
and
no
I can't
joke
wait
either.
to see, right?
It's not a small festival. It's internationally renowned.
I mean, that's why it says international. It's based right in Winston-Salem too. So go online, check it out. Look for this story on WFMYnews2.com. We got all the links there for you. We'll take a break and we're coming back.
Who's on Facebook with us? Raise your hand.
You better be on Facebook with us. Let's go. Mike's coming up.
I was just saying, we give Facebook so much free advertising. Not that people don't know about this social platform, but we say it every 5 seconds.
If they didn't know, now they know.
If you didn't know, now you know.
I was going to play a tune, but now I'll get hit with copyright.
If you know,
You know it, Brad. You know.
All right, hot topic. How do you guys feel about someone texting you, hey, can I call? Like, wouldn't you rather them just call?
Just call?
Because either way, you can choose if you ignore it or not.
That's true.
So you could say, oh, not right now, let me call you later.
Right.
Or you can ignore the call.
Like, hey,
So you like
can I
that?
call you? I want to talk about something. That just makes me nervous.
Yeah, sometimes I get nervous because I always think like the worst. I'm like, what did I do? Like, did I mention something?
What didn't you do, Lauren? That's
I know,
the question.
right? What didn't I do?
No.
What did
The
I
worst is when the boss says, "Can you come into my
Yes,
office?"
and
Listen,
That is the worst.
listen.
And then it's like-
instant anxiety.
It's like something that's like great, like you're getting a raise or something.
It's still, you walk in, you're like,
It's still
"What?"
nerve-wracking. Absolutely.
Song of the day.
Hey.
Oh.
I just can't play any more than that because then we get
yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's. I don't even know what it is because I got 3 seconds.
Lauren knows, she's singing it.
Nancy says, just call. No one calls anymore. Lynn says, I'm with you, Maddie. It makes me uncomfortable.
Oh, that
It does. It
that was
scares me.
my 2 cents a couple weeks ago. We should call people more.
My response time is 0.5 seconds or 5 to 7 business days. If I don't get back to you immediately, you're not
0.5.
hearing from me for a week. And I'm sorry. My producer said, give me a call during the break. You're talking to me now, Matt.
I've got to discuss the next block with you.
Oh, no. I
Now.
can't do it. Joy.
And pain.
Welcome back to your 4 to 5. Life is a long and constantly changing journey. A lot of times we don't even know where it's going to end up taking us.
But today on UDay, Coach Lamont shares how vision combined with faith can bring on a life journey that will simply amaze you.
A journey of 1,000 miles begins with just one step. Vision is a vital part of that journey. If you don't know where you're going, any road will lead you there. Once you have that plan, muster up the faith to take a first few steps. Stepping out on faith does not mean that you will not encounter detours or setbacks along the way. That's just a part of the process. But it's not what happens to you that has the power to hinder you, but rather how you react. That's what matters. Refuse to give up and settle for part of the vision. Never allow the setback to drain you. Simply redirect your energy and look at the map of your vision again. Nothing can stop you but you. So journey on and make this happen. This is Coach Lamont reminding you to have your best UDay. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, quiet day of weather across the Piedmont. Boy, don't we deserve it after yesterday, some crazy hailstorms and eventually that confirmed tornado in southeastern Alamance County near the Sutphin community. Of course, we've seen mostly clouds today. It hasn't been the best looking day of weather, but we are starting to see a few peaks of sunshine now as we go throughout the afternoon. Notice some of that blue sky starting to show up on our camera in downtown Greensboro, some sunshine starting to show through in Winston-Salem. So all in all, it's not a bad afternoon of weather at all and much cooler than we have been the last several days. We're in the mid-60s, 65 in Greensboro at a PTI right now, 67 over in Winston-Salem, 67 Lexington, 69 over in High Point. Of course, nothing going on the radar here locally, but if we zoom out on a wider view, I want to show you what's going on down to our south. You see there's two areas here of rain and thunderstorms. These are some disturbances, little areas of low pressure that have popped up along that cold front that eventually got to our south. It's now a stationary front, and as we go throughout the next couple days, a couple of those disturbances, little low areas of low pressure, are going to track along that front. That will keep some extra clouds around and bring us low low-end chances for rain over the next couple days. By the time we get into Thursday, we're drying things out. Still, high pressure building in from the north will keep us a little bit cooler through the end of the week, and then we'll warm things up going into the weekend. Here's how Futurecast plays this out. We've been talking about the chance for rain tomorrow for the last couple days. Honestly, I think it's mainly going to stay down to our south. We're also going to have some dry air in place over the triad. So, you know, it could be one of those days where Rockingham County stays completely dry and Montgomery County gets soaked with rain. Downright chilly regardless tomorrow, stuck in the 50s. Rebounding our temperatures, drying out on Thursday into the mid 60s, getting up into the 70s over the weekend. And that's your forecast. We'll be right back.
All right, I am talking about body language signs that let you know your relationship might be going down the toilet. Could you hear me? Could you hear me? Whoops, could you hear me or no? Okay, great.
Hot mic, hot mic.
Hot mics, mics are on. Mics are on.
Blanca is about to tell us if our relationship is going down the toilet.
That's right.
Uh-oh. Is that what a flush sounds like to you, Chilton?
Must be it. You actually hear that sound right before
Oh, sorry.
your significant other breaks up.
So fun fact, I cannot whistle. I cannot whistle. I've never learned how. Blanca, she's here.
She wrote.
I am here.
She wrote in the lead talking about Bill and Melinda Gates. Now see, I want to be talking about that, but we're going to go off in a different direction. I want to talk about the $150 billion that will be split between the two of them. That's
I mean,
crazy.
poor things.
I know.
It is sad that they're getting a divorce. That rocked, that was a shocker.
You know what's interesting though? I was
But
reading this that
they're not hurting.
they have a separation agreement. So it's like they have already agreed to all the terms. And
Oh, I'm sure.
that's a legal document so there was no prenup. So they
Right.
do this separation agreement, which is a personal legal document. But if they both sign it, obviously it holds water.
When you have that much money, you
mean,
have
really.
to have legal documents, even if you are so confident it's going to work out. I mean, in
exactly
this
right.
case, did
Chilton,
not.
you are very invested in this divorce.
Well,
here.
you know, I've
It's
been around a long time,
interesting.
Jalen.
It's interesting.
that is a lot of money, though.
And now all of the things, the rumors, I should call them,
Yep.
because we can't prove them, that are coming out. I just
So
hope they're both happy.
Bezos's wife was the
Mackenzie.
richest woman on the planet. They said, but now I think. So we know you've heard about this. Bill and Melinda Gates, their divorce, the latest high-profile split to make headlines. It's all over the headlines, actually. But the couples break up, every day. This happens all across the country. For many people, divorce is not an easy decision to make. Are there any signs that you can watch for to show you that your partner might be losing interest? This is what Blanca Cobb and I are talking about today, specifically what body language signs that suggest your relationship is on the rocks. So let's get right to that. Blanca, what would that be? What signs do we look for?
What I did is I categorized these body language signs into 3 different categories and using the acronym RID, as if they want to get rid of you. Well, the first one, the R, that really stands for no response. This is where they ignore you. No matter what you say or you do, they just look at you, but they don't respond. The I stands for irritation. So this is like when you're getting on their nerves or you're bugging them. I mean, that's the side eye, or they smirk, or you see a look of disgust or contempt on their face, just letting you know that you're ignoring them, and it really comes across as anger. And then the D is disinterest. So this means like if you're going to try to give them a kiss, they might move their head back, or they might turn their face away so you catch their cheek. Or if you come in for a kiss, if you're not interested, you come in for a kiss, you might get the corner of their mouth or something, or it might even be an air kiss. This is like they hold hands. It's more of an obligation instead of true enjoyment, because they're just not interested in being around you.
So the question is, let's say someone is seeing this, then what is your first step? What do you do if you notice those signs?
it's going to hurt your feelings. And a lot of times you want to be reactive. Instead of being reactive, I say to monitor. You really want to see what's happening for your partner. Is this a one-off or is this a pattern? If you respond in kind and give them a dose of their own medicine, then guess what? It can really make the situation worse, even though you might feel like that's justified. It just is not going to help. It's better just to see what happens.
Now, what if your partner's not really responding to your attempts and you're trying to make things better? I mean, is that definitely the end of it, or what do you do at that point?
No, it's not definitely the end of it, but what it does means that something isn't right. Something is shaky. It's on the rocks. This is where you want to talk to them and say, hey, you know, this is what I'm noticing. This is how it makes me feel. I'd love to get a sense of what you're feeling, what you're thinking. Are you noticing the same types of things? Is there anything on your mind? Let them know how much they mean to you. A lot of times, when something is problematic in the relationship, people focus on the problem and not how they feel about their partner. And that's why you want to put it in the forefront to let them know. And then also earlier when I said, don't be reactive, you can show them with your own body language how you feel. Maybe that's a little wake up call for you that perhaps you are ignoring them or not giving them enough attention. And you can let them know through touches and hugs and kisses and other ways that you're interested and you're invested in your relationship.
Don't you think that at some point somebody has to be the bigger person and kind of open up a little bit and say, let's get to the bottom of this and get past all the anger and hurt and really talk about the issues?
Oh my gosh, Eric, if everyone did what you just suggested, it would take therapists out of business. It would just really help clear the air.
But it is so hard, I think, to get rid of some of that anger and that type of thing. So good advice. Thank you, Blanca. We appreciate that. Good advice. We're coming right back, and 30 more minutes of us straight ahead. Do not turn that channel. We'll see you in a bit.
Why is this not working? Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together like a classic combination. Why is this not working? What is wrong with this?
Hi, Matthew. We're out here. What's up? I'm wearing a blazer so I look more professional. That's how it works, right? That's how it works.
Oh, no.
Be good now. Sean is troubleshooting it.
Try now.
Try. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, sounds good. Are you going to say these names?
No. You can just go to yours if you want, or Maddie's if you want to.
Maddie, do you need it for Facebook?
No. Tippity tippity tap tap tap. Tippity tippity tap tap tap.
Yeah, who's typing? Is that Jayla?
It's got to be Tanya.
Tanya.
Nope, that's me typing.
Oh, it's Jayla.
Tippity tap tap tap.
Jalen, you're working hard.
Always.
What you doing?
Always.
Right now, he's actually like doing something else. It's not work.
Can somebody spin the camera? That'd be great.
News happening around.
Oh, shoot.
I'm on it.
We got to spin that camera.
Spin it around, upside down.
That's perfect.
The sea.
Welcome back to the 4 to 5. Much more ahead in the next 30 minutes. We're going to have a good time and maybe you'll learn something along the way.
Yes, we're so glad you're joining us on this Tuesday. I keep thinking it's Wednesday, but it's not, and that is the worst way to approach a Tuesday, but we are glad you're joining us, and we hope that you'll join us on our Facebook page too. We are chatting with you there in the comment section. Our mics come up during the commercial breaks and we talk to you a little bit more.
You want to know something, Maddie? I thought it was Wednesday when I woke up this morning. Too.
See, y'all are getting ahead of yourselves.
Wishful thinking.
Always.
One day at a time.
Well, let's get into some of the latest news happening around the Triad today. Happening right now, teachers, school and staff and other supporters are gathering outside of the Guilford County Board of Education building to rally for raises. So this is happening as the board plans to vote on next year's budget tonight. WFNY News 2's Alma McCarty is at the rally there with the latest.
Yes, that's right. I am in front of the administrative building for GCS, where the Guilford County Association of Educators is going to be gathering starting at around 4:30 today. I saw a few of them over in the parking lot, and they'll be heading over there to rally until around 6 p.m., like you said, for those raises. And of course, this has been a group that's been out here before, even before the COVID-19 pandemic. They've been very vocal about different subjects, including teacher pay and staff pay, and even the conditions of the school buildings. Now, the Board of Education meeting, that is going to start at 6 p.m. today. They're going to be voting on Dr. Contreras' budget proposal. The people gathering out here, or who will be gathering out here, say that they're praising the superintendent's initial proposal with its ambitious teacher pay plan and an increase for minimum wage for cafeteria workers and bus drivers. GCAE President Todd Warren says that they've been closely talking with board members, encouraging them, of course, to support this new budget proposal, but they would like to make a few suggestions for improvements. Here are some. A 5% pay increase at least for any employee who wouldn't be making at least $15 an hour. That COVID-19 stimulus funds be used for significant one-time bonuses wherever possible. And finally, creating pathways for part-time employees to become full-time employees wherever possible. That way they could be on the state's health care plan. Now, we're going to be out here, of course, for you in the 5, 6 o'clock, covering this rally and then covering the budget meeting tonight.
And thank you so much. Let's turn now to your 4 to 5 roundup. The family of a black man shot and killed by sheriff's deputies in Pasquotank County watched more than 18 minutes of body camera video of the incident. Today, the relatives of Andrew Brown Jr. watched the video that shows the moment Brown was killed behind the wheel of his car in Elizabeth City. Deputies shot him on April 21st while they were serving a drug-related search warrant. A prosecutor says Brown's car made contact with officers before the shooting began. Brown's family says he was driving away and called his death an unjustified execution. The North Carolina House approved more severe punishments for rioting. The chamber voted on the measure that was a response to demonstrators after the murder of George Floyd. House Speaker Tim Moore cited those and the violence at the U.S. Capitol in January while pushing the bill. The measure would allow property owners to go to court and seek 3 times the monetary damage caused by a rioter. There are also new pretrial rules on rioting and looting charges. The bill now heads to the Senate. And most people are ready to travel, it seems, and that is evident by the Americans breaking a new pandemic-era record for travel over Mother's Day weekend. TSA says more than 1.7 million people were screened at airport checkpoints on Sunday. That's the highest number they've seen since March 12, 2020. Still, that number is nearly 30% lower than it was on the same Sunday in 2019. Air travel has been rising slowly after hitting bottom in mid-April of last year.
Well, of course, we want you to stay here watching the 4 to 5, but I also would be remiss if I didn't encourage you to get outside this afternoon. We've had clouds for most of the day, but this is the nicest that it's been all day. Some sunshine peeking through those clouds in downtown Greensboro. Temperatures sitting at 65 degrees out at PTI and generally mid and upper 60s all across the board. Running about 10 to 15 degrees cooler than we were yesterday. Just before those storms rolled in, we were in the 70s. But notice our dew points have fallen into the 30s and 40s. That means we have really dry air in place. Now, we've been talking about the chance for us to get some rain tomorrow, but watch this. As the disturbance passes us just to our south, I actually think it'll be hard for us to get much in the way of rainfall in the Triad tomorrow. You couple the fact that the disturbance is down to our south, also that we have dry air in place, some of that moisture would have to overcome. It could very well be a day where Rockingham County stays completely dry. Montgomery County gets soaked with rain. Of course, that's something we'll be keeping an eye, but I don't think it's an all washout day for the Triad tomorrow. Hoppers are in action tonight, mid-60s for that first pitch around 6:30 in downtown Greensboro. Going into your Wednesday, regardless of rain, it's a cool day of weather, staying stuck in the 50s, but we do rebound our temperatures heading into the weekend. I'll show you that 7-day forecast coming up.
All right, someone's knocking at the door, someone's ringing the bell, besides singing with Paul McCartney, right?
Yes.
What do, people? Do you answer it? Do you peek through the little hole? Do you ignore it? Eric, what do you do?
So the trouble with us, and we do have an issue with this because our two front doors are mostly glass in the front. You can't hide. You can't, like, if you peek, they see you. So we have to answer the door.
All right, how about you, Lauren?
Well, Tanya, if they didn't call in advance or text in advance, I'm not answering. I don't do pop-ups at my house.
Okay, so a lot of folks, though, are answering the door because they think that the person on the other side is with a company that they usually do business with. But I got to tell you, it's anything from a scam to just a bad business practice. Let me tell you about it. CPI Security customers got an email and probably ignored it because that's what you do, right? You ignore emails. But it says competitors are committing fraud by posing as CPI employees, or they're providing deceptive information about CPI security. So what kind of deceptive information are we talking about? Well, the claim is that they're with a new company that bought CPI and your service needs to be changed over. Or they're with CPI, but they need to do some updates on your control panel. Both of these claims are false. And if someone shows up at your house claiming either one, you need to just not do business with them. CPI is offering these 4 steps to protect yourself, and really, these are pretty standard for any company, even if you don't have CPI. Examine their attire. You need to look for logos. We know scammers can make their own, so verify that. Then look at their employee ID. There's actually a website where you can put in the employee number, or of course you can just call the main line. Here's the biggie. No employee will ever come to an existing customer's home to sell equipment or upgrade unannounced. That's what Lauren was talking about. And last, contact CPI directly with the number that you have on your bill. You know, scams and bad practices are just part of what the Better Business Bureau handles. Today, we're giving you access to one of their experts. What should you do if a business isn't making good on a promise? Or how should you pay for a big service like a roof? You can text your questions to 336-379-5775.
Titles upon titles upon titles. Over this past weekend, the Reedsville High School football team won their 3rd consecutive 2A state title. That's amazing. By the way, their total 22 state championships for the Rams football program. They are a dynasty. WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey went to Reedsville, talked to a few seniors and their coach about their huge mark on history.
Well, Reedsville is known as the football capital of North Carolina for a reason. With the most state titles in North Carolina's history, the Rams came into the spring 2021 season with one goal: complete the three-peat.
You know, tradition goes back a long way in Reedsville, and football is a very important part of what our community does. And again, when I came, it was just a blessing to be able to come and just be a part of this community, which is now home for me.
Football at Reedsville High School goes beyond the gridiron. It's more like tradition. Fathers, sons, grandsons, generations of families have gone to Reedsville High, and winning is what they all strive for.
It is great to be a part of this program, and we do carry our head high. We know expectations are high, and I said also when I got here in 1992, I wouldn't want to be a part of a football program that didn't have high expectations. So the expectations are us to be good every year, and so that's the kind of program that I wanted to be a part of. That's the reason I came.
For head coach Jimmy Teague, this is the 8th title he's helped bring to Reedsville.
The ring part of it is special for the kids, a lot more so than for me, but it is special for them, the guys. And I love those ring ceremonies when they first see the rings, and again, that's where I get my most enjoyment, see how excited they are when they get their rings.
For seniors Stevion Harrison and Jakai Rankin, this is their 3rd straight title.
A lot of schools can't do what we done did, so that's the best part about it. And not a lot of schools win 3 rings in a row, so.
It's definitely rare, but first I want to thank the good Lord for allowing us to have the abilities and being the great football team that we are to bring a state title back.
Now this is actually the third time the Rams have completed the three-peat. First time was way back in the 1930s. They won 1930, 1931, and 1932. Then again in 2007, 2008, and 2009. And then of course you have the last three-peat that was completed this spring.
I mean, how do you spell dynasty?
Seriously.
That's incredible.
And so we got a little conflict. Some other programs say they've only won 19 titles because the first three, they said there was a West champion and an East champion. But like Coach told me today, when you win your last game, you're a state champion.
1922 is still a lot of wins.
Yeah, right.
That's a lot of wins.
That's what I say.
I mean, if it's 19 or 22, they still have the most
Yeah.
in North Carolina state history, so it doesn't really matter.
I mean, you think about this too. Most schools, maybe they get 2 or 3, you know, or 4. This is ridiculously out of line with everything else. I mean, Jalen, you played in high. You know how difficult to get to a championship is so hard.
Yeah, we lost a state championship my junior year, so that was probably. We actually lost football and baseball. So I got a lot of heartbreak.
Change the subject.
Yeah, right. He starts weeping. Okay, we got to go to a commercial break. Awesome. Well, congratulations to them.
Yeah, congrats.
Yep.
That's amazing.
The best in the state. They always are. 4 to 5 continues in just a minute.
Facebook time.
Go long, Chilton.
The Rams.
So
tell Brian he's in camera 17.
Okay, thank you.
I think you already know. Mic check 1 2. Hold on 1 second. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2 3 4. All right, mic check 1 2 3 4 4. All right, thanks.
Welcome back to your 4 to 5. Like the old saying goes, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. And that's exactly why WFMY News 2's Brian Bennett sat down with a licensed therapist, Juan Santos, during Mental Health Awareness Month for a chat about ways to keep it all together.
I think mental health is important, for our life because it has to do with how you feel entirely. I mean, if you wake up and you wake up in a groggy mood, more than likely it may make the rest of the day really difficult. So if you think about, I want a good life, I want to be successful, I want to feel good about myself, we got to do some kind of work. And that work comes in up here, taking time to figure out, why do I feel the way that I feel? Why am I anxious? Why am I sad? And if I have a difficult moment like COVID, how am I going to navigate through that?
Speaking of COVID, Juan said ever since his company has seen an increase in patients.
I would say the caseload is at least doubled. So, if someone's seeing, let's say, 20 patients a week, which is roughly average for a clinician, that's going up to like 40 here in the practice and other practices that we know in the community. There's changes in hours too, or we might get off at 5, we're working until 8 p.m., working on weekends. And then some of the key areas of concern, reasons why, let's say, people will reach therapy: relationships, anxiety, depression, grief.
To help people cope, Juan says there's 3 things everyone can do each and every day.
First thing in the morning, try to find something that you can do. For me, I'm not the best at it. I try to get up and I try to make my bed. If you wake up and you do something and you accomplish something, it makes you feel good. Number 2, at the end of the day, write down 5, 10 things that you accomplished. And I mean big or small. I'm gonna write down I brushed my teeth. I'm gonna write down that, I played with my daughter today and I had my phone down. I was able to give her 100% attention. Once you write those things down right before going to bed, it'll cause a smile. It'll make you feel good. Make you feel good about yourself and that you're living a purposeful and value-driven life. And then number 3, getting on Instagram, doing YouTube channels, resources, videos on how to walk through anxiety, and then follow somebody that you build that trust relationship with and kind of see where that takes you.
Yeah, guys, and Juan has some great tips. I love the 3 tips that he gave. One of them I actually did and not even realizing it. It was more so out of fear of my parents, but who knew it had health benefits as well. That's making my bed every morning. But, it's definitely an important thing for everybody to pay attention to their mental health, because if you don't take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of everybody else?
Exactly. Once again, taking us to church.
Speaking like a true parent too, right there, Brian.
No, I think this is so important. And Brian, you actually said this morning, and it really stuck with me throughout the day. I think throughout this year, we've all been through some kind of trauma, definitely through some kind of stress, and many of us may not even realize it. So if we're just checking in with our mental health and saying, where are areas where I don't feel so great versus areas where I feel my best, and how can I achieve more of the latter?
And when people say it's the little things, it really is. I mean, a lot of that stuff you mentioned was just following someone, on a social media platform that makes you feel good, or somebody that you know really well, and just like that intimacy, that kind of closeness. And I think it is sometimes just the small things, a little bit sprinkled throughout a day, that can make a difference.
Yeah, just getting your mindset into a positive vibe. Like, I know recently I've been listening to TED Talks when I get ready for work. They talk about anxiety. They talk about, getting out of your comfort zone, different things like that. And if you start your day on a positive note, it really does help the rest of the tone of your day.
We accomplish a lot throughout the day. Take account of that. All right, the 4 to 5 is heading to break. We're coming right back, but we are live on Facebook the entire time. So come on down and join us there.
Live, live, live.
LIVE. Dun, 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 dun.
Sing it, Maddie. Carolina Blues Festival this weekend. Be there Saturday.
All right, so I'm giving you a preview if you're on Facebook. My 2 cents today is about why we should work 4 days a week and get 3 days off versus 5 and 2. So stick around for that, because I'm very passionate about it.
Lauren and I just talked about that the other day.
This is why I'm doing it, because every day I hear someone say, why do we work 5 and get off 2?
So I always wondered why is that a dentist thing? Why did dentists, how did that get started? That they only work 4 days a week. I've never understood. I mean, it's good for them.
They're
it's great,
smart.
That's kind of a given in the industry.
I mean, I don't know that. I know that many tech companies are trying this out, whether it's a Monday through Thursday schedule or a Tuesday through Friday, and then they alternate every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks you're getting 4 days off because your schedule switches.
I'll bet you.
Interesting.
I'll bet the dentist thing has something to do with standing up so long. You know how they have to. It may have something to do.
Maybe
with
longer hours too. I know a couple of people in TV world will work 4 days but do 10 to 12 hour shifts, kind of like nurses, people who work overnight and that kind of thing. And I mean,
I would do
they
that.
seem to like it.
I would totally
I
do
would
that.
do that because I feel like we already start our days early anyway. We're
Right.
researching for stories, like, you know, we come in at 9, but we might start at 7 a.m. So.
Right. So I'm a proponent of it, but I don't think we'll ever get to that. And I talk about it in my 2 cents, so stick around.
We will be listening.
Stick around. But yes, this all started when Jalen Gilkey every day would say,
Our producer just said, Maddie
why
for
do we
president.
only get 2 days off? The weekends aren't long enough.
They aren't. We really
No,
need
it isn't,
3
'cause
solid days.
Friday night's a throwaway, right? Because you're
Right.
kind of
I'm
beaten
tired.
up. Right.
Been up since 5.
Then you get Saturday, but then when you get to Sunday, I always feel like all I'm doing is waiting to go to bed because I can't do anything because I got to get up and go to
Right,
work.
and then all of the things that you haven't been able to do around your house because you've been at work, you try to do that on the weekend, and I just need one more day, okay?
One more day.
Someone help me out.
I'm with you. Let's start a campaign.
I'm trying.
Hashtag Dear Boss. Well, if you're like me, you've been waiting and waiting and waiting, and now it's back. I'm talking about outdoor live music events and festivals. And thanks to our friends at the Carolina Blues Festival, it returns in person this Saturday in downtown Greensboro at LeBauer Park. I spoke with Atiba Berkeley about the festival this year. And by the way, the theme this year is called Carolina Soul. So Atiba, the big day is coming up. We're just days away here. Let's talk about your lineup, because I know recently you guys announced this. It's a pretty big deal.
You know, the theme is Carolina Soul, and we were able to get in touch with, you know, local legend Roy Roberts. He's actually an international star. You know, he gets crowds of, you know, thousands of people over in Europe. Roy was able to make a suggestion. He said, well, you know, I've got this friend Johnny, and I was like, okay. And Johnny turned out to be Johnny Rawls, the original soul blues band. So we were able to get Johnny Rawls on the lineup. We wanted to represent the beach music legacy really authentically. We're going to have, you know, Daryl Johnson. For those that don't know, in addition to being with the Drifters for 31 years, when General Johnson passed, Daryl Johnson, who had Sun On Records and done studio work with them in the past, was asked to stand in his place. We also have our junior bluesman, Brendan Hinch. And the last act is the Phoebes, who is a band we found just by being authentic in the community.
So let's talk about in person. You guys are going to do that this year. How does it look different than years past?
I mean, for us, the format is very similar. You'll have the same experience. There'll be a walk-up gate. We will have temperature checks at the gate. We also are going to have cone health inside the event. We are a mask mandatory event. If you're not actively eating or drinking, we're following the governor's guidance as far as that's concerned. So since we are considered a large gathering, we do have to ask people to keep their masks on unless they're actively consuming, you know, food or drink.
I think people are just excited to get back to live music again, too. Have you heard any comments in that vein?
So many people are just ecstatic about the idea. I think, you know, feeling that kick drum in your chest a little bit from a nice big PA system. We intentionally didn't release our lineup with our first press release. We really wanted to focus on the fact that we're coming back and the public health aspects. And we still had a bunch of people that it didn't matter who was playing, they were going to come.
This is great, Atiba. So cool that this is back and we all love live music. We'll see you there. I'm so bummed that I can't go this year because I have something already planned. However, you should go. And this event is the 35th year, I believe. Wow. They've been doing it. They bring in great groups. They're actually, you do have to wear your mask when you're not eating or drinking. But he said other than that, it's pretty much the way it was. But there is limited space. But still, he said they'll have about 500, I believe, people there. So spaces for people. So you got to go.
That's great. When he said people are ready to feel the kick drum in their chest again,
Yes.
I think we all felt that. We were like, oh yeah, that's absolutely what I've been missing out on.
Yeah, just ready for that live music. And I think this is so cool that they highlight local artists and then bring people from all over.
Yeah, they bring in, you know, some pretty big names in the past. They've had some larger names come in, but what I love is they always have a younger blues musician from the triad. So in some cases, in most cases, they're teenagers, and they'll bring someone in. They can tear it up. You know, it's pretty amazing to watch.
35 years.
Yes.
Impressive stuff.
I love it. I love it. You can watch online too. We've got all that information in case you can't be there. They do ask for a donation, but it's not required, and that helps some of their music education programs.
Cool.
So we're coming right back. Maddie's my 2 cents.
Christian,
That's the second time in about a week that Eric has tried to toss the break without coming to me first. Tell you what, it's the nicest that it's been all day right now. You really need to get outside and enjoy it. As you can see, the sun has actually finally decided to make a comeback this afternoon. We are in the mid-60s though, and we've been talking about the chance of rain going into tomorrow. I don't think it's going to be a whole lot, especially for the triad. It could be one of those days where Guilford County, Rockingham County stay completely dry, but Montgomery County, Randolph County may get a soaker of a day with some rain. Regardless of the rain, it's going to be a chilly day of weather, sticking it out in the mid-50s for Wednesday. We're drying out, temperatures rebounding to the mid-60s on Thursday. We continue that drying and warming trend. Weekend looking nice, guys. And that's your forecast. Your 4 to 5 is coming right back.
One, two, three, four, five. During his time with the city, parish efforts to
Hello. Hi there. Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4 Tuesday.
Hi there. Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada.
We do love that.
It's like a trumpet.
She was doing this as she was on.
Yeah, a lot of confusion in that. Oh my God, that was blind. I need it.
Thank you for your help.
Of course.
I feel like I have boogers in my nose from all the pollen. Which, like, is there still pollen?
Can you hear? The long lines depend on when and where you go to fill up. Taking a look behind me. Alrighty. Breaking news.
At the last board meeting to the Board of Education. Okay. 3. Oh, IFB is, they're looking for a mic check. I can't hear them.
Maybe. Try now?
Yes, I hear you now. I hear you now. I'm sorry.
It's my bad. I did something funny.
What was I saying? I don't know.
Time for my 2 cents. Now, let me just preface this by saying my coworkers and I truly love our jobs, but everyone needs a break at some point. With that in mind, there's a point during every work week when someone says, why do we work 5 days a week and only get 2 days off? I mean, without fail, I will hear this from someone. So finally, I did the research and I learned a lot about time and productivity to answer this question once and for all. We'll start with where we got the 5-day work week. It was actually an attempt at giving people time off of working 7 days a week. Back in 1908, a mill in New England became the first American factory to give people 2 days off. They wanted to accommodate Jewish workers who observed the Sabbath on Saturday, and Sunday was a day off for Christians to observe their day of rest and worship. Soon other factories followed, and by the Great Depression, the 2-day weekend was cemented as a way to help with underemployment. But now, more than a century later, we are still following this blueprint, even though very smart people who think a lot about this say it may not be the best for productivity. More research is emerging that says a shorter work week would lead to increased output, better health, and higher employee retention rates. Sure, some companies are already trying out 4 days on, 3 days off, but it's hardly common practice. Those who experiment with the longer weekends say they have higher morale and fewer call-outs. They say when people are at work, quality improves and people tend to work harder. Think about them giving it their all during a sprint, knowing it's going to be over soon. Employees still complete 40 hours, they just do it in fewer days. Now, to be honest, I don't think we're going to see a big change. We are pretty set in our ways, and society is set up around a 5-day work week between business hours and school days. But if we did make a switch, would it now be a good time to do it? Coming out of this pandemic, working and learning from home and open to adjustments? That's just my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
We are following breaking news in Greensboro tonight. City Manager David Parrish is resigning after 3 years.
Currently, Parrish manages the day-to-day operations of 3,200 employees alongside 4 city assistant managers and more than 20 department directors.